Hey, welcome back to Java with Jeff. I've got my beverage and my Bible today. Hope you do too. Hey, have you ever thought about Hanukkah, that Jewish holiday, being connected to Christmas? Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but let me fill you in on some of the details really fast. See, if it wasn't for Hanukkah, there wouldn't be Christmas. Let me explain. Hanukkah was that holiday that's now become a holiday. It's the intertestamental period between the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Maccabees, maybe you know that name, they revolted against the Greeks who had taken over Israel and the temple. And as a result, they revolted. That's the Maccabee revolt that took place. And they took back the temple as a result of that. And that would turn into what would be called the celebration of Hanukkah. It's this candelabra with 8 candles that represent the 8 days that the oil was sustained. A miracle that they say, and it's because of that that we have Christmas. Now, why would I say that? Because, well, the Maccabees took back the temple. They brought back Jewish culture, and as a result, the Jewish people were back in Israel. The temple was restored, the second temple, and as a result of all that, God would set it up so that Jesus would be born and Christmas would culminate as a result. So Hanukkah is this really unique event that takes place even today, right now in Israel at the Western Wall. They've set up a Hanukkah, is what they call it, with the 8 stems, as opposed to a candelabra which has 7. Hanukkah clearly isn't commanded by God to celebrate. It would come later at the end of the Old Testament in the intertestamental periods. But as a result of that, Jewish culture was set back up. Now, why is that so important? It's important because Jesus was born a Jew. He came into the world as a Jewish baby, into a Jewish family with Jewish customs. And as a matter of fact, in John chapter 10, the only time that Hanukkah shows up in the New Testament, Jesus was on the scene at the temple talking about it when it showed up. Now, John's gospel earlier on in John chapter 1 is the best summary of all this, because Hanukkah is also called the Festival of Lights, or the Festival of Dedication, meaning dedicating the temple back to where it should be. So the Festival of Lights, Jesus, as we know, would be the light of the world. And John, who recorded that Hanukkah event in John chapter 10, would say in John chapter 1, his story of the nativity scene, John chapter 1 verse 9, the true light that gives light to everyone was coming into the world. In other words, Jesus, the light of the world, who would fulfill Hanukkah, would come into Christmas, being born and come, and we'd celebrate Christmas as a result of that. And in God's sovereignty and providence, He would have the Jewish people take back the temple, reinstate Judaism in Israel in order for a huge setup for Christmas to come, for Jesus to be born into a Jewish culture, to first save the Jews and then the Gentiles. So, happy Hanukkah, but even more importantly, Merry Christmas, because Jesus came into the world to save the whole world, Jews and Gentiles. Hope that's encouraging you today. Merry Christmas to you, and we'll see you real soon.